Lumalamig na nga ang panahon sa buwan ng Enero, pero sa mundo ng Crossfire Philippines, tuloy-tuloy lang ang pag-layup ng kompetisyon sa Day 10 ng CFPH Impact Summer 2025. Magandang hapon, Crossfire Philippines. Ako nga pala si Ramon, kasama ko si Sneaky Frog para sa Day 10 ng Impact Summer. At Sneaky, we're in the middle of the competition na ngayon, pare. Kamusta ka naman ngayon, pare?
Kind of getting whiplash, no, honestly, na kung gaano kabilis na yung panahon dito, men. We're already on day 10 dito sa Impact, and hindi pa rin ako makabilib na we're already knee-deep, no, dito sa tournament natin, considering na, God, just felt like 2 weeks, honestly, pare.
Totoo, pare, man. Sa gantong co-competitive ba naman ng Impact Summer, hindi mo talaga mararamdaman kung gaano kabilis ang panahon. Sa dinarami-rami ba naman nating nakitang mga clutches, sa dinarami-rami nating nakitang talent dito sa Impact, talaga nga namang hindi mo talaga mamamalayan ang panahon natin. As we're gonna take a look at yung overview ng buong Impact Summer, ilang best din natin siya napag-usapan. 8 teams, single round robin, best of 3 lahat para lang malaman kung sino talaga ang pinakamalakas sa kanila. On the way tayo sa playoffs kung saan apat teams ang makakuha natin. So talaga nga naman kailangang ilabas yung kanilang pakitang gilas habang sobrang late na tayo dito sa Impact Summer, pare.
Ayun nga. And for the prize, of course, it is always standard dito sa Impact. It is 700 for first, 500 for second, third is going to be 400, fourth 300, fifth and sixth is going to be 200, seventh and eighth 100. Accumulation, of course, of 2,500 USD prize pool, which is, pretty sizable para sa Tier 2 League, pare.
Oo nga Talagang thank you so much para sa suporta ng Smilegate para lang magkaroon ng opportunity ang ating mga Impact teams na makapaglaro sa gantong Tier 2 tournament. Talaga nga naman napakalaki ng stakes katulad nga naman ng prize pool as well as a slot papunta sa ating regional playoffs. Wherein now we also see yung team standings natin na kung bukang bibig natin yung top 1 at top 2, baguhin ko lang yung conversation for today's video. Yung top 4 slot na kung saan naglaro kahapon ng Rhea 7 Armita, napakalaki na magiging question mark niyan, pare. Dahil sa mga naglalarong teams ngayon na tatlo sa kanila ay nasa bottom 8, may chance para makuha ang spot ng top 4 sa Rhea 7 Armita, specifically sa Pro Team at saka ang Vengeance ngayong araw ngayon.
Yeah, I mean, a lot is at stake para dito sa Vengeance at XPT to actually get really, really good wins, especially itong Vengeance na medyo naghahabol pa dito sa standings natin. And I think Vengeance should be, praying a bit na matatalo itong XPT, so at least they would be tied para dito sa 5th place, and it would be a lot easier for them to make a run for it, considering ang kalaban nga nila right after this series today up against itong AGT, pare, is actually Rhea 7. So potentially they can actually knock them out of yung top 4 contention themselves. So that would be a very interesting narrative to explore dito, pare, considering na Rhea 7, I feel like they're slowly starting to show yung kanilang true colors dito sa ating group stage, pare, as there's a lot of sharks lurking, no, dito sa group stage, men, and baka maano sila, baka ma-hunt out of nowhere.
Totoo, pare. As we take a look as well yung schedule natin for today, it will be Vengeance versus AGT for our first series, tapos ang matches naman laban sa Cypher Pro Team, no? So habulan lamang ng mga nasa top, nasa bottom 8, kung saan ang matches naman ay pang solidify lamang ng top 2 slot nila. And since the Cypher Pro Team, may kailangan talaga nilang i-deepen yung understanding nila sa kung gaano kalakas nga yung Cypher Pro Team ngayon, considering their improvement throughout today's weeks. Pero yun nga yun, no, Sneaky, lahat ng mga teams natin dito, especially on day 10, is looking very hot. Lahat sila may opportunity para lang makataas ng maayos para on the way sa playoffs na mas smooth.
Yeah, I mean, AGT, honestly, yun nga, win up against itong Al Sovereign. Granted na itong Al Sovereign, no, pare, hasn't had, the best run dito sa ating Impact in T0 and 5. So, ayun nga, losing to Arise obviously didn't help. And yun nga, Arise also have their struggles, no? I mean, up against yung mga stronger teams natin dito sa tournament, obviously, they're kind of look disconnected. Some of them are kind of sending it in random timings, no, dito, pare. So, yeah, hopefully we do see something else for today. It's been 5 weeks ng Impact, no? So, siguro eventually may mapipick up naman dito yung AGT, men.
Totoo, pare. At habang tumatagal din yung weeks, baka mas na-recognize nila yung mga kailangang ayusin, at baka this week na, iba na yung magiging itsura na ngayon ng ating players on Arise Gaming team as well. So as we take a look at yung ating first series, it will be Vengeance versus yung Arise Gaming team na pinag-uusapan natin kanina. I think the pre-broadcast we kind of had a little bit of theories kung ano yung mangyayari dito sa araw na to, whether it will be Vengeance coming in with a new look, a new form, o kaya ang Arise Gaming team nga naman ay magkakaroon ng improvement all throughout the week. Specifically now, para sa Vengeance, medyo nagkakaroon ako ng parang doubts in my mind habang tumatagal yung Impact Summer kasi may substitutions, may lack of timings as you mentioned. Only one player has been consistent all throughout this team na si Kara, masasabi ko. Pero everybody else medyo parang either nagdi-disappear sila o dun pa lang sila nagsishow up. No? Like, anong nangyayari dito?
Well, to be fair, no, yung I like this iteration ng Vengeance kumpara nga dito sa kanilang last na iteration, no, yung no offense yung old roster dito. I really feel like there's more to offer dito sa bagong roster ng Vengeance. I really like how Alrets does look from time to time, no. Dito sa mga ibang maps natin. Obviously, Kara is a very, very good player, no. Tapos samahan mo pa si Suwa doon. And ayun nga, I mean, Vengeance really has a lethal combo dito sa ating series or dito sa kanilang team, but yun nga, for some reason talaga hindi sila magamit ng maayos. Even if there's mind-blowing performances, pare, you still cannot cap out yung mga wins dito. But I think we're gonna get into yung map veto natin, which is most likely gonna involve itong Black Widow and or sub-base. And actually hindi. I mean, Vengeance, I really feel like they really want the 2-0 today, pare. Gusto talaga nilang bumawi dito sa map score at least.
Not looking too good on the round differentials nga sa standings natin kanina. You guessed one of it, right? Black Widow already up para sa Vengeance ngayon. Specifically kung gaano sila passive in their approach on their BL. I think they're gonna have a really good time pagdating dun sa second half natin. Pero kailangan nilang labanan ito on the first half, giving up yung BL side natin on AGT. And for Port, I think nakikita din natin yung potential na nag-unlock din for Arise Gaming team, especially nung naging laban nila against Al Sovereign nung mga weeks natin. So picking that map up where they also won on the decider at least gives them a bit more of a confidence booster na since yun yung nalaro natin maayos last week, yun na rin nalalabas natin ngayon against Vengeance. So in the decider where Ankara is gonna be that map, mukhang do or die sa pareho nating teams, knowing na this map in particular is really good at punishing sa mga over-rotations at saka sa mga masyadong aggressive na GR players.
To be fair, no, I feel like itong Vengeance for the longest time they have stuck to this itong Black Widow natin through and through. Even yung kanilang last season, this is probably yung kanilang most played map, and it is probably a map na they do use as a crutch a lot dito sa mga tournaments nila. So if they could perform as well as they did the last time na nakita natin sila sa Ankara, this would actually be, going back in their way. Pero yung Port kasi medyo mystery yan sa akin kasi yun nga, I have not seen them played one time. And speaking of Vengeance, it is gonna be Jeloy out, Sua back in. Yun nga, big fan of Sua. Jeloy, granted na he has shown a lot of grit dito sa Vengeance. Baka yun nga, no, inserting Sua back in would be the way to go.
At the same time as well, you're also taking out one of your better Ankara players as well. So pagdating dun sa game 3, dun pa lang siguro makakita ng parang different effect kapag pumasok na din tong si CJ at si Suwa. Although granted, we haven't seen them together, so medyo small yung sample size yung makikita natin. Actually, small to none nga naman no? So tignan natin kung ano yung mangyayari sa tandem tong si CJ at saka ni Suwa pag nagsama sila pareho. But I do think there will be an effect kapag umalis tong si Jello no? So will this be a big effect? Yun na din yung para magiging win condition para sa Vengeance ngayon no? A lot of question marks around their performance, but what they're looking for is a bit of a bounce back, pare, kasi medyo hindi ako high sa hopes sila ngayon
Yeah, and I can't blame I mean, yung top 4 natin is pretty solidified at the moment. Sunday Shrooms obviously first, matches Heroics 3-7 fighting for second, third, and fourth, no? And may potential pa na itong Cypher Pro team can actually dip into dito sa playoffs depending on what upsets happen. Pero para naman kasi dito sa Vengeance, I mean, the last two teams that they're gonna go up against, pare. I mean, it's brutal. R7 tapos Sunday Shrooms dito. So, yeah, they really, really need this win, pare, and some circumstances to go their way para, somehow, maybe, baka may 1% chance na makaslip by sila sa playoffs, pare.
Totoo. At mukhang maayos na din tong oras para pag-usapan natin yung predictions natin coming into this with Vengeance versus Arise Gaming team. I'm gonna start things off, At magbibigay ako ng medyo hot take. 2-1 Arise Gaming team, pare. Honestly, this team, I'm not really super high on pagdating dito sa mga early stages natin. But you can see the potential from Aero ever since that he came into the roster nung sinub-in niya at pakatapos umalis itong si Stephen. I think he's done a really good job of being that type of player. And I think him and Rio together is a good enough force para lang magkaroon sila ng damage dito. Ikaw ba, Sticky?
Yeah, granted na ayun nga no, ang ganda ng performance ni Aero from his recent showing no. Granted na I really feel like he was the guy that kind of put them over the edge dito nga sa series, but I feel like it's still gonna be Vengeance 2-0 pare. I mean, there is levels to this yung laruan natin, so it's not the best sample size na kunin yung result siguro from last week na pwede kong sabihin na oh, they can now beat itong Vengeance this time just because they won. Pero ayun nga, I mean, the way I see it is very different. I really feel like yung Vengeance kaya pa nilang mag-contend dito, and AGT man, they're here for the ride pare.
Ah, yeah, definitely, man. I mean, both teams now coming into this with different stories. Yung paghabol ng Vengeance at yung pagbawi sa mga recent weeks na lang kung masyado medyo nagiging up and down yung performances nila. Ayun na nga, yung kailangan nilang tutukan. Ngayon naman, ang AGT is they're just here to have fun, pare. Lots of weeks have come by. There's not much that you could say about how they've been performing, pero kung wala na yung pressure sa kanila, baka mas iba na yung performance na makikita natin from Arise Gaming team. No? So, predictions out of the way, and with the map veto already set para sa atin, kung saan ang Black Widow ang pinakauna, pare. I think it's safe to say that Vengeance, since they are gonna be starting, I believe dun sa GR side natin, they're gonna give AGT a bit more of that pace, that tempo. What are your expectations dito, pare? Kasi mukhang Vengeance, since they played this a lot of times na, I think they have a game plan coming into this.
Siguro, para sa Vengeance, I mean, knowing kasi Black Widow, pwede ka maging aggressive off the jump dito eh. So, ayun nga, a lot of options for openers para dito sa Vengeance, especially nasa GR pa kayo, no? So you have the opportunity to surprise them from round 1 and kind of set the pace for the rest of the game, no? Kasi pag di nyo ginulat itong PL and you allow them so much space, then, ayun nga, then you're not gonna have a fun time sa GR side, that's for sure.
No, definitely not, pare. Lots of ways that Vengeance can actually go about with this, but since yung magiging star natin dito is AGT, man, I mean, for them to actually get themselves the winning advantage, I think they have to expect the aggression. But since they are going to be starting on our BL side, they have to be the ones to set the tempo ngayon, as it will be yung GR for Vengeance. It will be Alres to start things off. Papatay dito kay A42. With that lure coming down, the attempt is down, as well as the LA push from AGT, where dami na nakatingin doon pagkatapos ng first blood all the way to the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, A42 out at the start. I mean, obviously, si A42 yung isa sa mga pinaka-effective na players dito ng AGT with itong si Aero, but we do see bit of long pressure galing dito sa AGT as may very slow push galing dito kay Rio on that short position. Pero nakalagpas man lang siya dito, at least get one. That would be very nice. Pero si Rio mauuna. CJ, first one down. Azimit will get Rio up next. Pero nawalan pa nga na short control itong AGT. I'm surprised na hindi pa nag-react yung mga long players off of that short push actually.
Sayang hindi naging synced in yung timing no? While Rio was coming up, yung LA players, anda na rami-rami na sana nilang gagawin yun no? Kung hinayaan na lang nitong si Yotib, pwede naman siguro samahan ng CR7 no? Pero mukhang may second attempt, pero Asinit with that shot, double kill papunta kay Aero tsaka CR7. Not looking good for the default of AGT now. Naiwan pa nga yung Teres player na si Yotib na nakakuha ng isa dito kay Alret, so at least there's some damage done. 1v3, napakalayo ng C4, lots of time para makakonsider yung positions ng Vengeance ngayon para sa AGT.
Yeah, they're not gonna peak itong there anytime soon. So, ayun nga, we're gonna see itong si Yotib try to navigate his way pabalik nga dito sa short Suwa. Tamang crouch peek lang as he does get itong si Yotib at the end. Overall, solid defense lang naman from Vengeance. First pick agad from the B side and going into yung short. I mean, granted, no, ang ganda na ng opening dito ni Rio, pero inaantay ko yung follow-up galing dito sa AGT from their long position na okay, meron ng pressure galing kay Rio, distracted na yung mga A players, so where's the rest of the offense para dito sa AGT na mga galing sa, or papunta nga dito sa A side. So I'm just surprised na ganun sila ka-disconnected dito sa Black Widow, pare. But at the same time, I feel like there's a bit of fear in the back of their heads na baka meron na nakanood na sniper dun sa long or possibly dun sa rampa. So Ayun nga, maybe that slight moment of hesitation, pare, na-trap sila dito sa LA.
Sayang no? Game plan na sana nila yon. At kung maayos pa sana yung pag-sync in nila, baka naman mas maayos yung pag-take nila all the way towards A. I think communication is not their strongest point right now. So habang nagda-dead round, possible na yun. Dapat yung pag-usapan nila no? But I think yun din yung naging problems nila dun sa mga previous nilang games. Even in that All Sovereign game, there were a lot of rounds na medyo nabigay pa nga kahit medyo naging winnable pa para dito sa AGT. So it's a really huge sign na yung communication talaga yung issue for them. And in this week, it's the same thing all over again. So hopefully mapag-usapan nila maayos to. But there's also a big priority as well na dapat din nating sabihin na maayos din naman yung naging defense na sinabi mo on Vengeance. Granted na hindi nila masyadong gumalaw all across the map to actually do this. It is a good sign for them papasok dito sa ating second round.
Yeah, for sure. Pero ayun nga, no, AGT, I really feel like gusto kong makita na si A42 at least to live more dito sa round natin considering siya yung parang playmaker para sa kanyang team. I mean, napansin mo kanina yung ginawa ni Azenit in that short position, immediately recognizing na meron silang numbers advantage dito and without a moment's notice, nag-peek siya dito sa short in order to look for a further lead. That's what you need, especially in the higher level ng impact, even at the level ng masters dito. You can't just sit around. Sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands, pare.
Now, LA push coming down. AGT hindi na nagsaslow down na. Pinapasok na agad ng dinarami-rami pero Alreds prepared. Alreds with the second frag. Aero and A42. Pinatulog na mabilis lamang. Mahimbing para dito kay Azenit na nakuha na ng double kill. The AA brothers from Vengeance already laying down the law. Dito sa may LA. Nabagsak pa nga yung C4 at na-shutdown pa nga si Yotiv. That's a quick 2-0 para sa Vengeance.
Yun lang. You can't force out long exactly like that, pare. But at the same time, just really good shots galing kay Alvets. I like this patience galing dito sa Vengeance. Di nila minamadali na mag-fight back dito sa push ng AGT. They're just playing their just positions dito, obviously. Making AGT commit very deep dito sa LA. And in the crosshairs of so many other players similar to this dito sa mid. Short push agad galing sa Vengeance. And that's a triple kill para kay Alvets. A42 na lang natitira. And this is what I was talking about. Sometimes you just have to send it. And Vengeance, if they send it and they get the kill, pare, they're just gonna keep on going. And that is the essence ng Black Widow dito, men. A42 right up next. That's gonna be 3-0.
Sayang, boss. Sa gantong mid-push, ang hinahanap nila, ang hanap sana ng BL dito ay yung smoke all the way towards the mid-side. Alam na alam mo yung stage, hindi siya super safe dahil sa presence na sniper na ngayon si Alrets nakakuha ng napakaraming kills. Ayun nga, from that mid-push, really isn't working out for AGT. They're sending it, and they're sending it right here, right now. CR7 down, Rio gets that first blood. Si Aero na makakuha ng 2-for-1 para dito sa AGT. At least comfortably, they get the numbers advantage. Pero yun nga lang, Sua, nakabawi na agad. The sub coming back in, showing a little bit more impact para sa AGT. Pero yun nga lang, CJ, already called upon dito sa may LA at mukhang hindi pa masaspatan ni Yotib. Prepared para sa quick scope. Look at that adjustment. Yotib on a high note right now.
Yeah, I mean, big shot galing kay Yotib dito. Kung namatay siya dito sa long, would have been a done deal for the rest of the push. So AGT, let's see. Can this be the first round on the board para sa kanila dito? Maybe a win on their BL side finally. Pero Sua, Rio in a very, very good spot. Rouse out in the corner. Di siya masaspatan ni Sua dito. Sua will get baited in. And it's a very easy retake defense para sa AGT as they get their first dito sa game natin.
A slight variation sa ginawa nila kanina mid-push kanina no? Not because of the mid-smoke, that was honestly wala naman doon. Yung ginawa naman nila is naghiwalay pa yung dalawa para lang mas maayos yung naging push nila on that mid-side. There was a possibility as well na baka mas patan na sana yung LA player na si Yotib, but buti na lang his mechanics definitely on point so far. So maagap, yun nga lang, si Iro naman ang nagpakitang gilas sa LA push natin. Azenit and CJ down. Vengeance now trying to roll back dito sa ating A site with the defense now put on notice. AGT have a lot of time para makapag-consider ng options sila.
Yep. I mean, considering na pabina dito si Rio with that AUG, so I think yun nga, AGT is gonna consider that option. I mean, you already got two players dito sa A, obviously. defense magsa-spread out dito sa A at B site. So, either way, it is a 4v2 or a 4v1. Depende na lang kung saan ka mapapadpad dito. Pero, AGT, yeah, it looks like a quick burst B. Sua, if he doesn't die immediately dito, pare, VNG can still get back into this.
Yeah. That's definitely not that he's in a committed position no? Peeked on in the window at mukhang napakadali lang para sa kanya. The flick coming through kay Rio as well. This guy has definitely have given a chance para dito sa Vengeance ngayon. But Aero quickly gets a double para lang mas maayos na yung entry ng AGT sa loob ng B. Kailangan lang ilipat yung bomba papunta doon sa may kabaong para mas malapit na silang Sama dito kay Kara in this 1v2. 50 seconds. Vengeance are relying on the one player, but Yotib will hit the shot. AGT with that 2-3 start.
Nang sumobra yung strafe to ni Kara. Probably no one told him na buhay pa dito yung sniper ng AGT. Or at least buhay pa si Yotib. So, pretty good play galing sa AGT. Granted, it was very basic, no? Tamang presence lang dito sa LA. You know, draw a push galing dito sa VNG and go right back into the B site. Hey, sometimes you just have to play simple, man. Especially pagdating sa mapa ng Black Widow, which is a map that's very straightforward, in all honesty. So, yeah, overall, good job galing sa AGT, man. I mean, back to basics, but a dub is a dub, pare.
Totoo, pre. I mean, I think sa ganitong sitwasyon no, you gotta give credit as well sa naging game plan nila. Hindi na pinakomplikado pa. Nagsama na sila all the way back towards that house B. Tapos nung na-separate pa nga yung Vengeance in that 1v2, inayaan na lang nila na, sige, ilakad na lang natin yung bomba papunta dun sa may kabaong without the smoke as well. But the short position, definitely unnoticed. Azenit and CJ, look at that proactive push in towards mid. Kara with another one though. And Aero, CR7, lots of picks papunta dito sa Vengeance as Aldrich hits the shot yet again. And A42 also, binigyan na yung buhay niya papunta kay Kara. It's a 4-2 para sa Vengeance. At this point, ngayon na sila naging risky, pare.
Yun nga. I mean, I really like the timing galing dun sa Vengeance. I mean, 1 minute and 24. Eventually, you're gonna get antsy. Of course, you do want to push from time to time no, to kind of set the pace for the round. Pero, a bad spray galing dito kay Kara. Alret's gonna go down as well. Aero will finally eat the dirt. Pero yun lang, AGT, they're already scrambling para kumuha ng mid-control dito. And I like this play. Very heads-on. Pero makukuha ba nila dito si Azenit? Yes, they can. Pero CJ, buhay na buhay pa dito sa loob ng B-side. CR7, spotted, pero di na makukuha dun si CJ. I mean, I'm surprised na hindi na narinig si CJ doon from all that shooting.
A little bit of an over-aggression from CR7. Sayang pre kasi meron siya sanang magiging under control pero yun nga, I think it's also a really bad position for him kung magro-rotate sila all the way back and towards that B-site. So AGT, at least may time sila para mapag-plat dito sa may B-site natin as Vengeance are relying upon CJ and Sua. The first time that this duo is gonna place the impact summer natin. Let's see how they fare well in the retake. Si Rio, nasa may kabaong na, spotted na si Sua. Kailangan niya maging careful. Nakapasok na agad si CJ. It's a 1v1. Yotiv does not hit the shot yet. CJ, may time siya para lumapit. Lumalapit kay Yotiv. Na agad na napatay lang ng ganong kadali. A headshot from CJ. And a 5-2 para sa Vengeance.
Yun nga. Unfortunately, he was put in a 50-50, no? I mean, the door is right behind you. Pero mapapaisip ko na lang, do I go away or do I just take this fight? Do I have enough HP? Pero yun lang, in the middle of that confusion, CJ right between the window, getting that angle going. Very nice 1v1. VNG taking their fifth and they want to keep going. Dito sa laruan natin, Azenit will get only one. Actually, I thought it was three, pero Azenit still live and alive dito sa laruan natin. It's a 2-4-2 so far, or a 3-4-2 so far, and now it is a 4-4-2 para dito sa VNG. Rio na lang natitira sa short with an AUG. Granted, it's got very, very good spray accuracy. Yun nga, as displayed. Azenit will go down, pero it's gonna take a whole lot of effort para makabalik dito sa round natin.
1v2, Rio. I don't think na-spot pa nga niya yung window player na si Kara. And that LA push, the MVP there was the flasher, man. And Kara who just finds himself an opportunity kay Rio, that one tap. Pero yun nga pare, no, yung LA push na yun, yung pinakamalaking difference maker is yung mga nagbabato ng utility. And buti na lang, Azenit was just keeping his shots going, no? Kasi dahil dun sa push, lahat sila nakapag-push na agad all the way back in towards
LA again.
the cube. At yun na nga, parang yun ang mangyayari ulit, no? Si Sua naman yung spearhead, si Aero ang kukuha ng patay sa kanya daw. So, big punishment. Low on HP si Aero, so kailangan siya dapat na mauna. Pero baka mauna pa siya sa bangkay
Grenade.
bago pa siya magkaroon ng opportunity. As in it down, CJ.
Oh,
So, a
you're
huge
also
punishment.
low.
AGT prepared for the push this time around.
Yun lang. They got a bit too excited to get all those long players down. Alrets will get itong si Yotib. I mean, possibilities are endless dito sa round natin. CR7 low HP. Pero si Rio na lang pala tatapos doon. 6 and 3 AGT. Thwarting a long push galing dito sa Vengeance once again. It looked chaotic, pare. It looked very, very chaotic. I mean, yun naman talaga nangyayari dito sa Black Widow, no? It's a very, very common sight na nakikita natin. Meron talagang mga long players na really just refuses to give map control. And I can't blame them, no? Kasi that's an additional entrance either on defense and or offense dito, no? So, ayun nga, really, really well fought long hold para dito sa AGT, pare.
Yeah, and back-to-back runs as well. You see two variations of different results as well. Kung saan it was, I think, all three players tapos yung isa nag-hold back for the flash. And that flash actually worked out so well in that. Yung the second time around na ginawa nila yun, nalagyan pa ata ng smoke tapos yun pa ata yung nagbigay ng coverage para sa AGT. Kaya mas madali yung naging conversion na dun sa rounds dito. At dahil dun sa trading, mas padali din yung trabaho nila dito para matrabahuan nila ang mga nagpupush all the way towards LA. So medyo varying yung naging results natin dito. Pero I think it also tells you that both teams are willing to fight for that LA control. Na re-recognize sila yung malaking halaga ng Teres para kay Yotib who, let's be real kapag masyado nag-overpush yung mga players on Vengeance, he will actually be the one punishing them. But in the end, Vengeance still have the lead ngayon. And it's all thanks to how well coordinated yung nagiging pushes nila from LA at saka yung retake scenarios din nila, pare.
Yeah, pero para sa akin, no, for the second half, I feel like AGT should just try to send it dito sa long and see what happens. Pero hindi. Actually, they're gonna calm down, back all the way up at post yung kanilang aggression magagaling dito sa rampa sa mid. Pero Vengeance, I mean, same energy galing sa kanila dito. Very careful start. I mean, hindi ko alam nila na kung sino man makakuha ng first round dito is probably gonna dictate the rest of the pace dito sa second half.
Yeah. At this point, Vengeance back to their calling card. Ang usual na BL side na nagtatake ng isang minuto bago pa lang sila magkaroon ng desisyon. Jonassy just means that AGT now have the cards. Rio, what a nice timing kay Sua. Tinatry pa lang na sanang i-jiggle peak yung pag-push all the way towards ES, pero that's an opportunity for the AWM. Finally, Rio gets his name on the kill feed this time around again.
Yeah, flash for that short position. A42 is gonna hear that, pero Kara still getting si CR7. Maybe a bit of lag on the comms here for the side of AGT.
Again?
Pero A42, I mean, still can make something happen dito sa mid, pero medyo exposed yung kanyang posisyon. Now Kara knows about him too. This is rough para sa AGT. They're trying to get that trade back, pero hindi nila makuha dito. As in it now having long control. And AGT, dahil nga medyo passive in defense nyo, granted, double sniper. I mean, pag dito mama yung sa side nyo dito, this is a done deal.
Oo nga eh. At mukhang kitang-kita yung posisyon, pero Yotib still has the shot.
Oh,
Yotib
pero
from
tumama.
left to right. Pumonekta ang lahat ng AWM players. At si Alrets, mukhang isa na siya sa dapat kumuha ng 1v3 natin this time around. 40 seconds, ang layo pa. Ang kailangan tahakin para lang maplant yung bomba sa loob ng A-site natin sa dinarami-rami na nasa loob ng A-site natin. Punong-puno sa site, akala mo overloaded ng GR ang A-site natin, kaya medyo mahirapan si Alrets. Dapat magbigay ng timing agad ang AGT. Spotted 1 and A42 will get the opening frag. Dito pa lang sa ating 6-4 win.
Yun nga, no? I mean, it's a bit of an unorthodox na A-defense. Kaya nga na sinabi ko, kung walang or maisa sa kanilang magbintis with AWM, that's a done deal, pero buti na lang. At walang nag-miss dito sa AGT na squad. So let's see if they can recover exactly like that going into itong next round natin. Kara at the start, bawas agad eh. Pero dahil nga dito, walang choice yung VNG. They need to keep this AWM in the hands dito ni Kara. Alreds possibly might have to switch back to a rifle. Pero yun nga, it's a common vengeance start. They just want to punish yung mga aggression talaga ng AGT at the start of the round. I think they're very aware naman talaga na may bad tendencies itong AGT na mag-push forward from time to time, no?
Oo. Pero ito yung sa mga times na hindi nangyayari yun. No? Parang nare-recognize nila na kapag passive yung kalaban nila, hindi nila kailangan mag-overpeak because Kara definitely has gotten himself the first blood dito. CR7 trying to replicate yung ginawa ni Rio kanina. Na mukhang hindi yun yung mangyayari sa ating round ngayon. So it will be an early 1-0 so far para sa Vengeance. Slowly walking in towards yung short position natin. Na mukhang wala namang kukuha ng opportunity as Alreds will have to be the one to hit the shot dito. Si Yotib ang mga kalaban niyan who's already anchored down doon sa loob ng A-site natin. If he hits the shot, talaga madadalian ng defense ng AGT as Alreds he's trying to jiggle peek kung saan siya ma-expect na isang sniper.
Couch peek. Oh, we almost got them too. I mean, nagkatamaan sila doon. Yotib hitting itong si Alreds on the second time round. Kara will live to tell another day. Pero Kara actually getting itong si Yotib. Arrow on the other side of the map and will get itong si Kara. What just happened in this round? Nagkabaksakan na from that short position. The C4 na andito sa RS and I think hindi yata aware itong si Arrow na low dito si CJ. CJ, oh, not spotting him on the bridge cross. Pero
No
Arrow,
way.
This could be either the best rotation or the worst rotation you've ever made. And the end result is the answer dito, pare. Pero 15 seconds, not much time para mag-type ng numbers dito sa C4 natin. And CJ has to decide, and he's gonna decide right, actually. Arrow miles away galing dito sa B-site.
Coin flip decision at mukhang nakapag-heads ang idol nating si CJ. 40 seconds with the bomb plant down and Arrow galing pa siyang kabilang bansa pare kaya ang daming oras para magripo itong si CJ at mukhang alam na niya agad na napakalayo pa dito si Arrow who definitely has a time now. Back in towards the site we go. 20 seconds. CJ missed out on the timing pare. Sayang na sayang pero may opportunity pa. Since si Arrow mukhang busy at spotted pa nga yung baril niya. So balik na agad dito sa site, Arrow. I don't think he has a chance, man. It will be an easy headshot para kay CJ. A clutch coming through para sa Vengeance is 7-4.
Yun nga, I mean, there's only two ways na yung kalabasan na 1v1 na yun, especially pag umiikot ka na malayuan. It's either you guessed super right na by the time na nagpa-planta yung kalaban, he's right in front of your crosshair, or yung pala nasa kabilang side ng mapa and he gets to spin on you instead. Unfortunately, para sa AGT, it was the opposite. Pero yun nga, as in it, getting another one, A42 down, trying to recoup yung kanyang teammate na si CR7 who went for a long push early. And ayun lang, another round where AGT is down at the start of the timer dito, pare. Pero, yeah, it's gonna take a heroic effort galing sa isa sa mga players dito. Maybe some sort of individual play. Pero as in it, will get Yotib switching the sniper from his teammate. Grabe, Vengeance are stepping on the gas dito sa Black Widow, pare.
Wow, wait. Hinahayaan lang ni Arrow na dumaan tong si CJ. At mukhang hinahanap niya yung magandang timing. Spotted yung tatlo. Possibly the first blood. Kara down. CJ spotted. Doesn't have the bomb. Kaya kailangan niyang patayin muna agad tong si Arrow para matapos yung round natin dito. 3 versus 1. Arrow taking advantage of this. Alam na agad kung saan siya magagaling. Tinitingnan niya flank. Pinapatay na sa kabaong. Alreds gonna try to push in with that Colt in hand. Yun nga lang sa window with that perfect flash. It's enough para mapatay agad si Arrow dito into 8-4 pare. Vengeance on their BL. Yung passive approach na talagang agad-agad na trabaho. Yung aggressive po siya LA ng AGT.
Yun nga, 2 more points for Vengeance to close out yung game natin potentially. Rio, very nice position from short. Pero kung mas patan siya dito ni Alreds, that's gonna be doom and gloom potentially for AGT again. Pero Vengeance, yung classic slow start galing sa kanila dito, holding back as far as possible. AGT not realizing no na may opportunity silang kumuha ng mga early angles dito. Pero seems like only Rio gonna be getting it. CR7 will take down itong si Alreds and Suwa up next. C4 down dito sa HM. Kara naghahanap ng trade pero wala naman. Nakaalis na si CR7.
Oh man, sobrang lethal talaga pag ginamit mo as info at saka pang aggression yung ES natin no. An opportunity para Sa mga napaka-aggressive players nating CR7 who has been showing improvement all throughout the weeks natin. Kills off Sua, kills off Alrets. At least there's a trade-off dito kay Rio who is down for the count into a 3 versus 4 where they're now relying on CJ para matradean. Yung dalawang napas lang sa Vengeance now peaks on to CR7. Kung mapipeak nga siya ng ganito, yun nga yung mangyayari pre. Headshot found. 3v3. Mid open, ES wide open. Yung short pwedeng kunin. Si Yotib yung pinakamalaking challenger dito. Dapat ma-hit niya yung shot dito. At least kay Azenit para lang ma-slow down yung tempo ng push from Vengeance.
Yeah, there is a bit of help though galing dito kay Arrow. From outside B box, Yotib. Uy, despite being somewhat of a slow scope, still getting itong si Azenit somehow, some way. So C4 is down. Gonna temporarily slow down itong Vengeance sa kanilang pagplant ng A side. CJ finally typing the numbers pero A42 around the corner. Looking for CJ first. Pero si CJ pala makakahanap ng dalawa doon. 4 bullets, 2 heads in an instant. 9-4 Vengeance, 1 point away.
Nakikita mo na nga yung AGT. Sinusuntok ang buwan sa sobrang sayang ng round na yun sana. Kung mabilisan lang yung trade pagkatapos yung unang patay galing kay CJ, Aldrets and CJ mukhang gusto na matapos yung first set natin. May gagawin pa mga idol pagkatapos ng ating series. That's gonna be 8-0. Trying to get a lot of damage done dito sa may House B defense. Pero yun nga, Azenit nakalapit. Mukhang palapit sa pagpatay dito kay Yotib who's also low on HP. CR7 gonna take advantage of that. Yotib gonna get the call down. 2v2. Trying to hold down yung House B natin. Sua going in and out of the fight. Trying to see if he can kill up tong si CR7. Pero Alrets now joining up with him to make this a 2 versus 1. Si Sua na napatay tong CR7 will now leave Yotib all alone with low on HP pare.
Oh, no scope. Yotib sent it. Oh, but with the Colt, I mean, it has to be 2-1 taps in a row. How is he alive still? Yotib. And he's out. Pero yun lang. I mean, barely any HP to work with. Good angle galing dito kay Yotib, but he's gonna have to gas through the smoke kung dadaan ba sila or hindi. Window position gonna be occupied. Wala ng HE ang mga Vengeance members to try and get this. Pero Aldrets was already staring at itong window B. Vengeance getting a 10-4 dito sa Black Widow. And can't say I didn't expect it, no. This is their best map and they performed exactly as expected, pare.
Yeah, I mean, good job talaga para sa Vengeance. Definitely the players that you expect to perform have definitely performed at the standard. Yung mga aggressive pushes na sinespearhead ni Azenit, especially nung nag-start sila doon sa GR, yung mga times na medyo naging 50-50 pa nga sana, yung naging peaks on long A, yung AGT. And the only times na nakikita natin sa YouTube na nagkaroon ng tear push is yung one time na yon nung mga first rounds natin. But after that, medyo na-dictate na nga ng Vengeance yung tempo ng game natin from GR alone, no? From pushes on LA, as I mentioned, yung pag-kills nila doon sa may mid na, honestly, it could have gone either way doon sa time na yun, no? Pero once na nagkaroon ng grasp yung Vengeance, doon pa lang sa first half natin, alam na nila kung paano dapat to laruin as a whole. Knowing that AGT likes to play that aggressively, hinahayaan na lang nilang medyo ilaro na lang ng AGT yung mapa kasi by the end of it, yung mga setups, yung magre-reign suit team para sa kanila, no?
Yeah, for sure. Pero, ayun nga, no, it didn't feel like itong AGT did have control of the game the entire time that I was watching, no? Na feeling ko yung mga panalo dito ng AGT was more about VNG making mistakes rather than them really forcing anything dito sa mapa natin. Granted, may mga rounds naman na nakakuha dito ng play itong si A42 or CR7, maybe even itong si Rio, no? And Aero having some very, very nice shots dito sa baka ibang baka rounds na napanalo nga nila dito. Pero in terms of overall control dito sa mapa, wala. Hindi ko naramdaman yung AGT having real control over yung Black Widow, pare.
Yeah. It's medyo heartbreaking to say that, pero it is the truth at the end of the day. Yung AGT, masyado na atang marami ang kailangan ma-figure out bago pa masabi natin na meron nga silang grasp sa ating competition so far. And in this game against Vengeance, mukhang it's not gonna be the different story na medyo hinahanap ng mga underdogs na gusto sana ma-root ang AGT dito sa game natin since Vengeance, even doon pa lang sa ating GR, they had so much control, especially on the important parts of the map. Yung pag-hold nila dun sa may House B that really needed a little bit more setup than usual. Tapos, again, yung LA push na sabi ko kanina, no? Which also kind of talks about siguro yung parang change in playstyle this time around. This is the team that we can kind of see moving forward if Sua and CJ continue to actually have this synergy. And I guess CJ being the sub-in from last week pa lang, doing really good results. It tells you that this guy really is a shoe-in dito sa Vengeance ngayon. Now na second week pa lang niya sa Impact Summer, pare.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, really glad na CJ's performance kind of panned out for Vengeance, especially knowing na he didn't perform too well dito sa kanilang last na series, so maybe getting a bit more comfortable dito sa Vengeance, kind of helping him here. At the same time, I feel like Sua being back dito sa roster really changes a lot para sa kanila dito. I think Sua, he's the perfect support for a player like itong si Kara. Pero granted, I think Kara didn't carry as hard as we expected dito sa laruan natin. It was actually rest of the team kind of stepping up to the plate. More teamwork galing dito sa Vengeance. They felt more like a team today kumpara sa mga ibang laruan nila.
Medyo ironic yung kung sin team ng may Rise Gaming team nga naman sa pangalan Medyo individualism yung nakikita natin sa kanilang Black Widow. Ang daming picks na ginakuha nila from those picks, wala sila nakuha masyado map control. CR7 having good entries, pero by the end of it, medyo nakukuha lang din sa mga retake scenarios ng Vengeance. So, at least they have some firepower. At least nag-hit yung mga shots ni Yotib. Pero kung gusto nila makakuha ng decisive results, kailangan nilang i-step up, lalo na dito sa ating second set map, which honestly is still looking pretty good para dito sa Vengeance. So, what more can be said other than kailangan nilang mag-improve dito sa second set natin, pare?
Well, ayun nga, Vengeance are kind of known as a team that really relies on itong Black Widow, and pagdating naman sa mga ibang mapa natin, they do perform slightly worse, pero is that slightly worse gonna be enough to beat itong AGT, pare? I think so, pero pagdating sa mapa ng port, there is gonna be a lot of questions, kasi ayun nga, AGT did pick it, so obviously Vengeance, magsisimula sila dito sa GR side, and they're gonna get that very, very good start, potentially, unless magkamali sila na malala dito sa first half, and then that's a chance para sa AGT na makabalik dito sa game natin kasi it's sport. If you really do play it correctly, you could have a very, very dominating game or a very good comeback, pare. Depende talaga.
Yeah, I see. And honestly, pag nakita natin yung highlights natin, by the end of it, you could kind of notice that parang hindi masyadong gumagalaw din yung Vengeance, even under GR. Just really good defense all across the board. I think a few pushes from Azenit really has set the tone para sa naging performance din on the end of the day. There were some times that AGT have bundled up together as a team, tapos doon na lang nila tinry na ma-overwhelm yung mga depensa nila. But after those times, minsan nagiging isa-isa na lang parang attempt para makakuha ng first pick, pero napapatay lang sila agad-agad ng mga riflers o kaya ng mga snipers ng Vengeance ngayon. So considering this Sneaky Frog, this port map, it's a different map compared to yung structure ng Black Widow natin. Are you expecting that Vengeance closes us out 2-0, or may palag nga ba if nakapag-online nga yung mga star players natin? Like, isipin mo kung nakapag high performance yung AGT, do you think that's enough para mapatay yung Vengeance ngayon?
Well, this really does fall into the shoulders ni Yotib at ni Rio, Itong map number 2 natin, I feel like the snipers have a lot of responsibility when it comes to the map of port, considering na you are defending literally isang side ng mapa, and if you don't hit any of your shots as a sniper, then potentially you could just lose the entire side. So, I feel like yung snipers ng VNG are doing slightly better, pero not to the point na masasabi ko na may sobrang one-sided yung first half natin dito. Pero may mind na man. May malay mo si Alrets or itong si Azenit, maybe even si Kara, man. Maybe they're feeling it, and especially considering napaka-prevalent ng double sniper pagdating sa mapa ng port. I mean, the amount of people that can snipe dito sa team ng Vengeance, that's definitely gonna provide some trouble dito sa AGT.
Yeah, on the map of port in particular as well. So talagang kailangan maging preparado na sana ang AGT sa pagpasok ng second set natin, as Vengeance are looking on tip-top form para sa kanilang first set win. Pero I mean, considering then that they're coming into this with a pretty low record on our standings ngayon, masyado nang importante na kailangan nilang mag-start na maayos yung set 1 natin. Pero for this set, from the set summary, kitang-kita yung mga standouts. Si Azanet na masasabi natin is usually expected na dapat ay magiging consistent para sa team niya. Sometimes si Kara dapat yun, pero Kara kind of took a little bit of a backseat in terms of his performance. He didn't need to do that much kasi yung ibang mga nag-a-aggress para sa team niya, itong si CJ, itong si Alrets, tumatama naman yung mga ayos ng shots. No? So for Vengeance, it's all good para sa kanila. Para naman sa AGT, I think there's a lot more that we have been saying all throughout the broadcast na parang hindi na natin kailangan ulitin. This needs a lot of talking about, pare.
Yeah, I mean, Arrow still very nice job. Yotib still very nice job. Rio, I mean, 0.9 pare, very very nice. A bit disappointed siguro sa performance ni A42 considering na he has been one of the better performers pero dito sa AGT. Pero I mean, Vengeance man, they're just a bit too good pagdating sa mapa ng Black Widow. I mean, CJ 1.71, 1.44 para kay Alrets, Azanet with 1.45. No, overall solid performance. So we're gonna take a look at yung set MVP natin, and it is gonna be CJ. So congratulations to CJ, man, the new guy, notching one dito sa Impact, pare.
True. Against the likes of Azanet at saka yung iba pang mga players ng Vengeance, he showed na he has really good performances when he's consistent, pare. He's not somebody that you'd expect to be the spearhead, but kung kailangan nyo na magandang mag-trade, which honestly has been yung naging storya ng Black Widow natin, si CJ yung mismo nakakuha ng mga reliable multi-frags para sa team ng Vengeance ngayon. No? So good job kay CJ, at especially congratulations para kay Vengeance. They take yung Black Widow mapa sa mga paboritong mapa ng Vengeance ngayon. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na nanalo sila doon sa first set tapos na yung buong game, diba? May second set pa tayo. Ang pwedeng pambawi para sa AGT ang port map kung saan kailangan mag-step up ang bawat player ng AGT. Yan nga ba yung mangyayari? Or may 2-0 ba to? Malalaman niya yan pagbalik ng Impact Summer. Ako pala si Ramon, kasama ko si Sneepy Brog, at hindi kami honest, magbabalik ng Impact Summer. Magtutuloy ang karera para sa top 4 sa pagbabalik ng CFPH Impact Summer 2025. Ang Vengeance versus Arise Gaming Team kung saan 1-0 na ang Vengeance ngayon sa ating serye. Mga Sermon, kasama ko si Sneaky Frog, kami ang casters ninyo para sa serye na ito. At sa port map natin ay mukhang slated na for victory ang Vengeance natin dito unless may gagawin ng AGT dito, pare.
Yeah, I mean, AGT, no, they're still, they could probably still, get something going dito sa mapa na to. I mean, Port, it is going to be very tough para sa kanila to, get something going dito sa first half considering natalo na kayo sa map number 1 and then maglalaro pa kayo ng BL start pagdating sa mapa ng Port. So, yun nga, you gotta keep that mental steady, no? And I really feel like makakatulong dito sa AGT is possibly a very, very early round dito sa blacklist side nila kasi, yun nga, kung isang puntos ka or dalawa, I mean, especially pag round 1, nagawa nyo na agad. I mean, you can kind of roll with the punches, no? Kasi hindi pa alam ng BNG ano yung tamang setup para i-defend yung usual offense ng AGT. So, I mean, Vengeance, so it's a setup for success yung kanilang panalo dito sa series considering na pwede pa nilang ituloy-tuloy yung kanilang momentum rolling from this map number 1.
Yeah, but honestly, as well, we gotta remember na AGT have also been the one who took this map. Kaya yung Vengeance sila yung nagpili ng kanilang magiging GR side natin. So, a bit more of that good news into the wayside para dito sa Vengeance natin, no? Since this is a map na medyo mahirap nga naman mag-entry. So, we're expecting a lot more coming from A42 as you mentioned kanina dun sa break natin, no? Parang he is the guy na usually would make some good plays. Pero sa lahat ng mga tinatry niyang i-attempt, nasa-shutdown siya agad ni Alrets, no? From the sniper who now will also have the spotlight on him right now kasi Port is one of those maps where the sniper is very much highlighted. So yung mga top A plays na usually yung sniper nga naman yung magiging star, si Alrets yung kukuha na mantle na yun, kailangan na matrabaho ng AGT ang ma-counter yung top A player natin na si Alrets mamaya.
Yeah, for sure, no? And A42 definitely, yeah, do have a good point sa kanya dito. If he doesn't really step up to the plate, especially he's gonna be possibly the guy opening up itong B site, then we're probably gonna look at a big lead dito sa BNG in the first half. Pero let's see, Yotib around the corner. gamit ng kanyang AWM. It's a standard 3-2. A lot more relaxed dito sa A-side considering walang presence, no? Pero may dalawang players na nakakit ng CA. Sua will get A42. And that was just a shot through the smoke, pare.
Oh,
Or no,
man.
actually, na-push si A42. A bit wild. Medyo malayo yung kampi mo, min.
So nga eh. Kung ganun, dapat kasama na sana nung si Yotib. Pero again, he's also the sniper. But at this point, you gotta let nung si Yotib sana yung lumapit. But now,
What
hasn't it?
is going on?
Also gets a spray through the smoke, man. Nag-iisa-isa na lang ang AGT at si CR7 sumunod pa nga sa bangkay. Lahat ng mga players ng AGT ngayon, si Alex na nakuha na headshot from the sniper as well. So all good para sa Vengeance. Hindi nila kinailangan na magtrabaho para sa mga kills nila. Sila na mismong lumalapit para sa unang panalo ng Vengeance.
Yeah, and medyo nagkagulo nga dito yung AGT nung namatay dito si A42. I mean, could have just recouped, maybe push one side of the map dito, pare. But AGT, I think three individual opportunities, pare, and all three of them unfortunately did not find it. So, ayun nga, Vengeance, first round on the board. And AGT agad, they're not gonna go that aggressive. No, at most, si CR7 is probably gonna try to take itong CA control. And maybe A-side take, standard A-side take lang, pamang nades lang from that CA position. Pressure itong si Azenit off of that mid. But I'm gonna have to wait and see, man. Medyo lumalaban dito si Azenit. Oh, and that's a good shot. Kaligay Kara, A42. Not being careful na baka may tao dun sa CA. Pero Sua will get CR7.
Back-to-back rounds na pick off ng maaga. And a pick off all the way towards Rio. There's a possibility for him to cut off the rotation. Kara also spotted from CA. Lots of damage done sa sniper. At mukhang si Rio pa nga nakakuha ng patay sa top 8 player na si Alres. CJ also down! What a good play for Rio. Finds opportunity sa bridge. At may time pa siya para makapag-rotate pabalik doon sa may LA. Mukhang Sua and Kara have no info. At dito pa lang, medyo kailangan maging careful tong si Kara. That's a wallbang all to Rio. That's an opportunity for the retake scenario. Nakabalik ng maayos until napatay siya sa likod. Itong si Aero into this 1v2 na iniwan lamang kay Sua.
Yeah, Sua. Bridge position. Utib nandito sa long arrow on that top A. Sua spotted already dito sa may bodega and will get taken down by arrow. Not gonna let that slip by. 1-1. I mean, yung sinasabi ko, man, get some good early rounds para sa AGT. Way better setup para sa kanila this time with a bit more mid control. You know, get a bit of presence dito sa B side. I like that kind of Rio na he went for an aggressive play. And speaking of aggressive, AGT wanting to go in dito sa B side natin. 842 CR7 nakakuha na ng dalawa. Pero Azenit with the flank galing sa Z. Can he get any kills? Pero bawas lang dito kay A42 ang nakuha niya. Rio, Yotib, instant T2. Alrets na lang natitira. The A side sniper. And nakaltukan pa nga siya dito. 17 HP and a dream will hit Rio. Pero hinahabol na siya ng mga AGT players? No. They actually just stay inside of the site. Tamang respeto lang dito kay Aldrets, pero tingin na rin yata ni Aldrets dito that possibility of getting back into that B site is 0 to none, pare.
Na-realize na ni A42 na hindi niya kailangan gawin ng lahat na mag-isa. Sama-sama na yung AGT para makapasok dun sa may house B, and well aware na since there's a possibility of a Z push, hindi na sila naghihintay lamang. Pumasok na sa loob ng B at talagang inayos na nga yung pag-trade-off dito pagkapasok sa site itself. So now, there will be an opportunity for AGT to get the lead this time around. And that's thanks to CR7 and A42, the duo rifles na nag-entry na mabilis na hindi nabigyan ng opportunity yung Z player na makapitalize yung punishment.
Ayun nga, Vengeance losing another one. Unfortunate para sa kanila dito, pero AGT, possible good spot if they can get another one on the board. Pero Vengeance a lot more passive this time. Hindi na nila nilabanan yung CA, Kara not on that higher position, pero I think Vengeance medyo naging weary sa kanilang B-site defense after ang isang napakabilis na rush. So they're now starting to be a lot more assertive sa harap ng smoke na yan. And AGT gonna take advantage of this slight distraction.
Yeah. This is one of those times na kailangan mag-swap itong si Azanet eh, no? Bogdan Slot definitely accounted for a shot kay Aero. That is a possibility for a push in towards LA. CR7, nasa iyo yung smoke, brother. Yung C4 nasa kanya, pinalapit pa nga sa kalaban. And A42 Yotib, kailangan maghukay ng bundok para lang mas madali yung makuha yung objective. Napakalayo sa kanila si A42, at least na ko yung headshot. 2v2, yung rotation ni Suwa. Dapat perfect yung timing. A42 trying to tease itong si Suwa. Yotib also spotted. That's a call out. That's another shot for Yotib. A 1v2 clutch. AGT got 3 rounds dito sa ating first half.
I mean, hitting that shot under pressure is absolutely insane. Galing kay Yotib, a turnaround, one tap with the Colt. Trap na nga sila dito sa LA. It was a good play galing kay Suwa to go for that long push. Pero, yun nga, fortunately, that slight timing, that singular second, allowing itong si Yotib to pull out that Colt and get that headshot. Pero yun nga, LA na naman ang target ng AGT. Gusto nila umakyat dito kay Aldrets. Aldrets with the Colt is gonna hit his own headshot, pero buhay na buhay pa siya dito sa top A. Actually, Aldrets trying to do as much damage as possible before he goes down. CR7 Yotib will finally get both A defenders, pero sobrang tagal ng kanilang take na andito na yung Vengeance. Kumakatok na agad, nakababa na ng LA. Suwa getting Yotib, pero Rio at A42 taken down 2 of the pieces ng retake defense, pare, or ng retake dito as 4-1 AGT. This could be the map. This could be a hidden feature na hindi natin na-realize exists within this team, pare.
Ooh, yung rifling trio na hinahanap natin all throughout the series finally waking up. CR7 with the entries, A42 following up, tapos si Rio. Talaga nga naman wala nang takot na nilalabanan yung top A natin, pare, no? So hopefully, this becomes consistent para sa AGT. Nakahanap na nga ng opportunities. And finally, Vengeance put on notice on GR side, pare. Hindi sila makakontrol ng kahit saan dito sa port map dahil sa napaka-aggressive pushes na ginagawa ng AGT from that long A setup.
Yeah, it's a bit more calm this time from both sides. I think na-realize yata ng dalawang teams natin that they might be playing a bit too fast. But at the same time, nandito si Kara sa long. Metal box, perfect position pag nakadaan ka dito without any of the BR players actually spotting you. Pero Aero, very careful about that position considering na very aware siya na medyo iniwan nila yung long A. So the possibility of someone being here is not zero, that's for sure. Pero grabe AGT, they're just holding themselves back for now na baka may lumabas dito sa Vengeance.
And just because of the lack of info, they're not risking yung LA, ano? Hindi niya alam kung nasan yung sniper. And they don't even know about the triple setup dito on LA. So AGT is not gonna take that risk on relying on CR7 to get the info from the rotation. I think narinig niya yung pag-rotate na yung sa mga players. So makes it an easier B push. Capitalizing on that info, they're gonna try to push in. Aldrets now spotted, gets one. Now playing from Godbox. Kailangan niyang i-push on in, but look at that quick scope kay A42. But at the same time, Rio and CR7 nakuha pa nga ng 2 picks para dito sa 3v3 natin. Flashed on in. An opportunity for AGT to get the bomb down yet again. And Vengeance gonna have to rely upon this double flank para lang maayos yung may retake nila dito, Sneaky.
Yeah, as in it coming in from behind, Yotib, Rio, medyo magulo yung kanilang position. Rio can actually get taken down. Pero yun lang, bawas na bawas si VNG players. The timing goes all wrong, as in it. Can't get another one. Yotib nasa loob ng sight.
Ooh!
But then the crossfire comes, as in it, with barely a sliver of HP. Does survive the round, does finally get the retake going. After a bit of a streak, AGT finally concede the round against itong VNG. And VNG, man, the struggles finally stop temporarily dito, pare, but they need another one right after this.
A textbook 3v2 coming into the wayside of Vengeance. They put 2 people on the double flank and then they trade each other off para mas maayos yung entry. And this time, Kara is not scared anymore. CR7 down, but that is a popcorn straight up by Yotib. Signed on in, and Kara will also receive it. It's a 3v3 pakatapos ng expected push shot ni Rio. Despite the smoke, alam na ni Suwa kung ano yung nangyayari dito. So now, it is an open mid-side and as well as LA for AGT. Pero still, because of the lack of info, parang hindi din sila nagwilling na kumuha ng mga opportunities dito, pare.
Yeah, a bit of a slower take dito sa mapa natin. Yun nga, after one fist fight sa mid, everybody stops. And in this silence, AGT, gusto nilang pumasok dito na B-side. Pero merong nakastack na 3 players ng VNG. This could be the correct read for the Vengeance squad. And if this flash fails to blind any of the players on the inside, this could be trouble. Sua will spot the crouching sniper. A42 trying to enter itong site, pero Arrow A42 will get it. Arrow around the corner will not get the sniper. Alrets doesn't even need yung help dito to CJ. CJ was just there to witness two, even three players fall galing sa AGT, pare.
Totoo, man. Talagang chilling lang si paring Alrets dito as both of the riflers, definitely having a good job dun pa lang sa pag-defend on that side of the map. Godbox also prioritized, pero look at the double LA setup. Mukhang Aero does expect that CJ will get the trade. This is what I'm talking about, CJ, pare. The amount of times that this guy has traded yung mga aggressive pushes for AGT, definitely a solid asset para sa kanila so far, especially on the sport map where a solo entry isn't really the most optimal thing, but CJ also expects those CR7. 2 kills for him, possible third, and Rio down as well. Headshots found. Vengeance relied upon by the sub. Tayo nga, patay na agad tong si CJ. Sua will get the opening. It's a 1 versus 3 na para sa AWM player. With that bomb down, mukhang imposible na to para sa kanya. Mas lalo na napatay siya ni Azanit. A 4-4 na pambawi para sa Vengeance.
And yeah, Vengeance finally realizing that they're playing the map of Port and it's GR-sided, pare. So, and yeah, finally getting some rounds on the board. And Alrets starting to hit some shots. Sua back in his form despite being only back in this game after a bit, pare. And let's see, can Vengeance capitalize on this momentum? Can they at least get a 5-4? Nades are gonna start to fly dito sa LB. Flash gonna come in, pero hesitation pa rin galing sa AGT na pumasok dito. Smoke's gonna go down. That's gonna block the vision ng mga players. And ang daming utility actually na nasayang na agad from that AGT push potentially dito sa LB. And they're gonna need to reroute. Wala silang mid-control. Wala silang long control as well. Pero fortunately, VNG, they're a bit distracted considering yung ginawa nila dito sa B-site.
Parang kinuha pa nga yung isang pahina para sa playbook ng Vengeance kapag nagsimula sa BL. Get as much utility as possible sa kalaban. Pero yun nga, it's also gonna be that split push para kay Rio. He's also in danger for 2 people coming through from that mid side as well. So LA, full notice para kay AGT. Alrets on the very comfortable position sa A-top. So dapat tama yung timing, pare. Either kill off Kara first or prioritize the top player dito na ang sniper ng Vengeance. A bit of a tall task ahead of them as Azaret will also give a lot more of that information. 1 minute on the clock. Alrets nonchalant sa ating angle at finally spot ba siya yung headshot galing kay A42. We needed to step up and unfortunately he sits down. Azanet and CJ, they get a lot of picks para sa Vengeance, pero si Kara na dito na din. Ang AGT
Oh my God, Kara!
Double kill for Kara. Yotin to jet the trade 1v1
Only
and
one.
up against the sub. Yotin does get the bullet to the head. CJ will get the 5th round and Vengeance, although it was a bit too close, they still get the lead para sa GR side nila.
Yeah, but it was so obvious yung ginagawa dito ng AGT. I mean, there's no more presence dito sa B-site. Obviously, no noise. I mean, that's an A-take 100%. And unfortunately, they got read like a book. Granted, ang ganda ng kill dun kay Alrets. Not enough to take out yung mga bodega players natin. And Arrow with a 3K! Holding itong House B like it's his property and he gets the 4K. Alrets lang makakatigil sa kanya dito. CR7 will get Alrets eventually with that flank. And what a start to a second half para sa AGT.
Putting on his J-Kim cosplay, pare. House B, gate kept para dito kay Aero. 4 headshots. At sa isa-isa na lang pumasok ay talaga nga namang madali lang para kay Aero, pare. So mukhang tatrabauin na ulit ng Vengeance. Si Rio nakakastart ng simula sa smoke bank kay Azanet. Si Sua na makakuha naman per 1. Damage done. And again, the aggressiveness from AGT is looking in tip-top shape. Na-disrupt yung movement at mukhang hirap na hirap ang Vengeance. At least may konting damage done. Papatay pa nga itong si CR7. And in this 3 versus 4, Vengeance have been looking for an answer. And with this punishment, mukhang mas maayos yung magiging default nila dito.
So 5-5 scoreline in a 3 versus 4 AGT. I mean, a position na they can definitely lose from. Pero, Rio, good damage dito kay Kara actually. So that's going to make it very interesting. Para sa Vengeance, maybe Kara going to be assigned on that sniper. Yup. To be fair, no, not a bad sniper itong si Kara. And A42, lots of responsibility para sa kanya dito to help itong mid defense. Rio getting a bit frisky sa mid. A42 will actually get itong si Kara, who was holding all the way dito sa backcourt. And a 3v3 does occur. 1 minute and 10 on the clock. Plenty of time para pag-isipan dito ng Vengeance kung saan sila papunta. Pero yeah, they're running out of room to play here. AGT with all the space to work with dito sa mapa natin.
That indecisiveness now kind of creeping in dito for Vengeance. And they have to find the pick para lang mas maayos yung conversion to the rotate. It's either gonna be yung pick off kay Yotib. But that also puts them in a crossfire. Possibly an answer para dito is yung pag-push all the way towards B. Right now, they're relying on A42 para mas maayos yung magiging depensa nila dito, as now it will be 30 seconds to push on in. A solo anchor. At least malapit dito si Yotib, so if doesn't hit the shot, maayos yung
Uy.
rotate. It will be that one tap all the way to CJ Alrex. Nahihirapan mag-trade pero at least he gets the job done. Yotib also at the right place at the right time. So si Lua bumabalik, nakakuha ng headshot, a 1v1. Si Rio nagpakita. So mas madali yung time niya para makuha yung bomba, i-plant, i-reposition. Pero yun nga, Rio just waiting for the time para kung saan siya papasok. Hindi spotted yung helmet, na-spot pa ni Sua. And it's a 6th round for Vengeance.
Grabe, Sua. Bit of a risky plan para sa kanya dito considering kita yung kanyang ulo, but does get the crouch and the wall bang in time. Gamit yung kanyang M4. Vengeance back in the lead, and this could be them back in the game. Houseby na naman ang target ng mga BL, pero mapapabalik sila dahil sa mga flashes. Instant reaction, instant rotation actually galing sa mga AGT na players, at gusto pa nilang labanan dito yung Houseby. This would be a good clear in order to remove Kara from the equation, pero yeah, they're just staying in front of the entrance. Ayaw nilang pumasok dito. They really do respect itong Vengeance, pare.
Kita pa nga ni CR7 yung angle kay Azenef. He does push a little bit too far dito sa ating Z position, but I guess at this point, you're just willing to actually get to as much info as possible. But Vengeance are not willing to actually get a lot more space done, noise kahit saan. So, since nalaman ng AGT na sa B sila manggagaling, hindi na kailangan gumalaw nitong si Aero, who's actually been some sort of force dito pa lang sa pagdepensa niya on the way towards the B site. At least meron pang suporta from A42, pero a bait and switch setup is gonna be risky even in a position for AGT ngayon. So hinihintay na lang nila siguro yung call coming from other players on Vengeance. Either back in towards Z kung saan ay risky yung magiging push na all the way towards curve, or kukomit nila all the way back in towards Aero and A42 right now, Sneaky.
Yep. Flashes are gonna start raining dito sa site. Everybody's blind. A42 spraying, but will only get one arrow not spotted. Dito sa Godbox natin, arrow spraying and praying. Suwa's gonna go down. Kara as well. Alrets na lang natitira all the way in the backline ng court position. C4 out in the open dito sa B site. AGT. This win is served on a silver platter, pare. All they have to do is take it.
Ito yung sinasabi ko, pre. Too many rounds given up on your GR side. Vengeance are now suffering, especially on AGT. A really good setup para hindi sila makapasok with that bait and switch. Rio now trying to get the 1v1 happen, but with this, it will be an unfair wall bang from CR7. Thanks to the M4A1, pare, na equalize pa nga ng AGT. And because of how they play around that info, how close all the other players are on the rotation, that B site is looking fully loaded para sa defense ng AGT.
Yun nga, it would have been a good idea kung nakapasok sila ng HP ng mabilisan dito. I mean, that one flash really just stopped that entire push. And yun nga, no, all that momentum from that B push could have led them inside of the B site. All that chaos could have been the key. Pero unfortunately, yun nga, no, Vengeance will not run through a flash. That's for sure. Not the smartest play to do so, especially these LB. Pero, let's see. I mean, Yotib, lots of responsibility dito sa kanilang push, and not much help actually galing dito kay Rio. More focused on that mid position.
I think this is the first time that Vengeance are gonna push on that LA now against AGT. At least some support from CR7, pero masyado siyang malayo sa larangan ng digmaan, pare, as now it will be the flash. Smoke's coming down. Will be the contest against top A player Yotib. Also smoked on down as Yotib hits the shot despite getting blinded. A jump shot at that. Kara mukhang nagkasalisiyan sila. At mukhang may opportunity para kay Kara. Pero yun nga, that top A player Yotib pulls out the cut. Gets the double. And definitely a prime spot para sa AGT, pare. Yung secret sauce pala nila is yung port map natin on GR side.
Yeah, I mean, this is a result of a very, very good first half performance as well, no? I mean, dami nilang rounds nakuha dito sa PL side. And by the time na naka-enter na tayo ng second half, it was already a close affair. So AGT defending really well dito sa A side. Di basta-basta binigay dito yung bodega. And hindi basta-basta nagpatalo yung mga top A players natin. So very, very nice hold despite the speed of that push. And let us see this time, VNG now fully aware na merong threat na nangyayari dito sa mid. Rio already out. CR7 will actually replace him. CR7 low. And pag napatay nila si CR7 dito, that would have been curve. That would have been A potentially, pare.
No nga eh. Medyo malas yung Vengeance dito na nakatakbo pa nga tong si CJ, but CR7 pala, sorry, but at least lots of damage done for him. Mahirapan sa defense kung siya pa nga yung isa mga pillars na mababagsak dito from AGT. So back into a 2-1-1 setup. LA still a possibility, but Vengeance are looking to creep in dito sa may B site. And A42 and Aero, they've been doing a lot of good work defending this side of the map, but because of the lack of control on the way towards Godbox, it looks like it is a possibility.
Uy.
But Azanet gets a shot. That's an entry from CJ on the other side of the map, though. B side wide open. Vengeance taking advantage. CJ gets another one as Alex hits the shot kay Aero. The rotation, definitely not a safe place para sa ating players on AGT ngayon. As CR7 also gets knocked out by Lurker na si Azanet. 7-7. Kinakapala na muka ang Vengeance sa pagpasok nila dito sa may B side.
Yun nga, Vengeance still fighting back, clawing dito sa lead ng AGT. They're not allowing yung score natin to get too far. Pero yun nga, bit of a stack na naman dito sa mid. AGT not really wanting to give itong CA para makakuha ng 8-take potentially itong Vengeance. But now Vengeance very fully aware sa ginagawa dito ni Rio with the wall bangs in that exit position. They're gonna try to punish it. Sua though will get CR7. The amount of people holding itong mid just to get this punish, man. Pero si Rio mawawalan din ang buhay. Oh my god, man. We need to back it up a bit here, brother.
Sayang, pre. Isa-isa na silang pumipik. Isa-isa sila masyadong aggressive. Now giving that curve position up, and possibly just requiring one of these players from AGT to actually get somebody doing sa curve natin. That's Aero now. But that also means na mas mabilis yung pag-push nila on the B site. That is if papapatay itong si A42. Does get tagged from that early aggression kanina. Now separating everybody from Vengeance. That also leaves a lot of room, a lot of space para makalaban yung isa't isa dito sa pag-push nila from all sides of the map. It will be Alrets versus A42, tapos Aero laban kay Kara, low on HP yung rifler natin. So as a top A player versus itong si Azanin. So all these duels will matter so much. Yotib gas hit the shot that he does kay CJ. Azanet, di pa alam yung position niya, pero na-flush na ng kaibigan niya, pare. Mukhang kita yung ulo. Alam na ni Yotib. He has to back on safety, pero yun nga, Vengeance already inside of that A site. Pakatapos patayin yung curve player, mabilis ang pag-rotate nila all the way to A site.
Yeah, opportunity para sa Vengeance to get this match point before AGT does anything about it, pero it is back to their good old default na gumagana na for the past few rounds. However, medyo minamadali nila to actually, so they still have to be careful about yung presence ni Rio at ni CR7 in that bridge and exit position. Pero ngayon, Vengeance, whole lot more time to set up para dito sa A-side. This is very deep, very early.
No nga eh. Definitely something that they could work with this time. AGT just going back to what has been the safe play for them. Top A player sniper, but let's be real, what kind of sniper doesn't go on top A in around 7 out of the 10 rounds that they still have? So for Vengeance, yung play na lang this time around again is that 1-3-1 setup. CA control also present for them, pero I don't think I've seen a lot of Z pushes para sa rotation nila, you know? Just usually yung pagpatay nila dun sa mid player and just a bit of a split push to try to get that P site. So Vengeance, lots of options, but mukhang papatayin na lang nila siguro itong si CR7 at saka si Rio.
Ayun nga, Rio will get that opening frag, pero Azanet lumalaban pa nga dito. CJ looking for it. CJ probably will get the Aero, but Aero fully aware of the flank player. Pero yun lang, HP gonna be the way to go para kay Alrets. A42 approaching slowly. Is it gonna be a swing? Alrets wallbanged actually, and makukuha ng actually Aero dito. It's 8-8, mano e mano. Need to support whoever gets this round. It is gonna get potential match point. We're gonna have to wait and see kung sino makakuha nun. I mean, both sides are really exchanging blows dito, pare.
Oo nga eh, masyado nang risky yung ginagawa ng Vengeance sa ilang beses na din nilang pinaprioritize ang curve position natin nagiging magandang time na yun para sa AGT on the rotation as well despite them killing off Rio. Still gonna be a banger of a performance from the rotations coming from AGT ngayon as they're now going back to trying to control, defend yung bawat sektor ng entrance. Vengeance, medyo konti lang yung mga attempts nila from taking long A and now isa na to sa mga times na yun will be LA possibly unnoticed as Azinet gets the shot all the way elevated in towards LA pero mukhang fake lang ito para sa kanila. Rotate all the way back in towards mid. Alreds with the shot yet again kay CR7. 5v3. AGT have no idea kung saan manggagaling yung Vengeance now.
Yep. 3 versus 5 AGT. Hanging on for dear life dito sa round natin but A42 could make all the difference. Dito sa kanilang B-site nakatutok na harap-harapan. And Alret's gonna be the first one down. Good trade for the rest of the boys dito na Vengeance. Kara gonna try to be a bit aggressive dito sa mga curve players. Arrow very aware na pwedeng may tao dito sa may baba. Rio gonna be right behind itong si Arrow. Arrow slowly creeping into the site pero yun lang. Already spotted through the smoke. I feel like meron na silang rough idea kung nasan si Rio. As it is a 9-8, Vengeance getting match point first and AGT, they're gonna need to produce some magic dito sa round natin, men.
No, man. Now AGT has an opportunity to still push this papunta sa OT. Still potential, especially sa nagiging set plays nila. Expecting yung mga default positions ng Vengeance, even taking control of the space. Na ngayon ay crossfire pa ka all the way back in towards yung LB natin, pare. See if mahirapan yung Vengeance para makuha yung space doon no? Parang Vengeance now doing the best that they can to gain some info. Yun yung ginawa nila from the previous round. Malaman lang nila na after those 2 pick-offs na nagawa nila, mahanap lang kung sino yung weak side for AGT. They realized it was on the B side since the top A player is still present. And how many times have they supported well in top A player from that bridge position? And also, now it's a quick scope from Alrets. A42 down. Aero has to go back. An opportunity for Vengeance to end this right here, right now is present. Rio can push on in towards the C position. Mukhang hindi pa siya spotted ng lahat ng mga players from
Rio
that
spotted.
RS position. Look at that, 1v1. Rio, 1 HP
that's
eventually as it takes it down. Crossfire setup for Aero as well as dito kay CR7. This has to be huge, pare. Kung magpupush nga yung split push nila dito.
Yun nga, I mean, dapat iniwan na lang nila si Rio dito sa baba ng bridge. Didn't really have to show his position. Ang ganda na ng depensa nila sana dito. Alreds will fire off a shot and is gonna keep itong si Arrow posted sa B-side. Pero long na pala ang target ng Vengeance. And a lot of players, a lot to think about. Flash is gonna go through para kay Karan. That's gonna blind the top A player. Yotib fully blinded and is gonna be blinded again thanks to that second flash. Pero makuha niya pa rin yung tira kay Azanet. Azanet around the corner. Pero CJ will get Yotib eventually. CR7 known entity dito sa may hagdan. Pero makakapatay pa rin ng isa. Arrow, last brother left alive. Pero makakuha pa rin ng isa kay Alrets. Possibilities are endless dito sa 1v2. Arrow sprayed through the box and that's a 10-8, a 2-0 para sa Vengeance.
As you predicted, Sneaky, Vengeance taking this smoothly papunta dito sa ating second set. Definitely something na na-expect natin sa kanila considering how well they have been proved with the CJ integrated into the lineup and how well he has been able to actually play off of the riflers that we've had dito for Vengeance. And I think 16 plus kills para kay Sua who honestly, nung pagkapasok niya ulit dito sa ating week naramdaman na natin yung impact niya, especially in this port map. Some solid pushes coming through from him as a rifler, finding good timings as well when it comes to the rotation coming through from AGT. And man, I mean, for Vengeance, there was doubt seeping in, especially nung bumabawi na yung Arise Gaming team. And the amount of times na nakakuha ng mga first shots itong si Yotib, yung mga times na nakakabawi pa si Rio from his duels alone, you can definitely see that there was potential for that comeback to happen. But Vengeance, nung na-realize nila na natabla na yung score, gusto na nila tapusin to, man. Natatapos na nga nila ngayon.
Yeah, honestly, that last push, dito sa last round natin on port, I think AGT maybe got a bit too excited at the same time. You don't expect a nice shot to be hit like that to start things off. Unfortunate lang yung nangyari dun sa mid dito kay Rio. If Rio didn't get spotted, may mas different sana yung magiging kalabasan. Considering may information na siya dito kay Azenit, information on another player as well. So, a lot to think about kung kayo yung AGT. But still, yun nga, no, if you're AGT dito, expected to be taking the L today, I mean, you guys did pretty well dito sa port, in all honesty, man. A42 with some good spots. Si Rio doing a nice job as well. Yotib, no, just as consistent as per usual dito sa laruan natin. But up against itong Vengeance, man, it's not gonna be enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, against this team as well, I mean, even though there was some doubt into how they're gonna perform on the recent weeks, there's still a team na kapag nasa magandang form sila ay nakakatakot pa rin kalabanin no? I believe I had a bit of a story na binigay sa akin ni Buko that Vengeance was one of those teams that were very, very scary nung pagdating sa mga open qualifiers natin. And of course, it is very much shown kung kapag umabot sila sa mga highs sila ay nakakatakot nga silang team kalabanin no? So Arise Gaming team, they knew what they were preparing for, and unfortunately kahit sobrang lapit ng game natin hindi talaga naging sapat yung mga gawain ni Yotib kanina no? So hopefully makuha nila yung mga kailangan nilang tutunan dito sa ating VODs at saka sa laro nila against Vengeance, because honestly that port map sayang na sayang. If only hindi na pick up tong si Rio as you mentioned, at saka kung naging consistent na sana yung nagiging hold sila on GR, then definitely they could have actually gotten a bit more of a solid game plan against Vengeance.
Yeah, I mean, itong Vengeance, no, they didn't really have the best defense pagdating sa mapa na to, which is a very worrying sign kung kayo yung Vengeance, especially knowing, no, na mahirap maka-come back dito sa second half, or at least just collect points in general, no, dito sa second half, kaya medyo nakabawi yung AGT. Pero nga, AGT, it's the same problem as last time. They got too hungry for the win, and unfortunately, no, they kind of overplayed their hand and they lost all their chips. So, ayun nga, a lot to think about really para dito sa AGT. Yun nga, positive takeaways. Ang ganda ng laruan nila dito sa port. Had some good counterplays dito sa Black Widow, but just like how I said, felt like they didn't have control that entire time. Pero wala man, it's back to the drawing board for the boys over at AGT. As possible learning experience siguro that they learned today na yun nga, Vengeance is really freaking good sa Black Widow.
Oo nga no? Just a map that they're also like very, very familiar with. Komportable. At dito sa port naipakita nga din na kahit medyo napatagal yung game natin napaayos yung sistema para dito sa Vengeance no? Just showing yung strength nila on that attack or on that BL side. So hopefully that shows din sa susunod natin mga games. And with this 2-0, with the amount of games, the amount of rounds that they've also faced up, talagang they're putting up a good argument for the top 4 spot no? But it's also depends on kung paano magpo-perform ang Cypher Pro team mamaya, since they do have a game up against Matt Jess if I'm not mistaken. So a bit of a tall task ahead of them, but a possible one considering na Matt Jess aren't really the unspeakable or the untouchable force that we usually like them to see, although they're expected still to be top 2. Naipakita ng Sunday Shrooms na posibleng matalo ang Matt Jess pare.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, matches, they weren't as gaudy as we expected, no, entering itong tournament natin. Yun nga, granted, they had some really, really good players coming to the lineup, no, with itong si Ninkyu from MJB. Some old names kagaya nga dito ni Rels, pero ayun nga, that Sunday Shrooms game, man, just showing na even Impact does have some very, very good players, very, very underrated players, no, and I feel like itong Sunday Shrooms really do a good job of highlighting yun nga, yung mga better players natin to see. I mean, you have Kid from Hell, you have J Kim, you have J Bice on the team, pare. It's kind of hard to lose when you have a solid lineup like that. Tapos, sali mo pa yung mga ibang members dito like itong si Ram and itong si Zib or si Zoran, depending on who's gonna play for the day. It's just overall a solid team, no? Yung itong SS natin. So, yan, it's expectations are they're probably the favorites dito sa tournament natin, men. So, yeah, would be nice to see them doing well, pare.
Oh, totoo. And they're already doing well as well. So pagdating dito sa schedule, we kind of mentioned it in the previous weeks that it is getting lighter for them habang tumatagal. Parang it is Sunday Shrooms' month so far, no? So hopefully makip nila yon. Pero sa conversation natin for today's broadcast, no? Yung Matt Jess ulit, no? For top 2, with how they perform against Sunday Shrooms, yun lang siguro yung parang naging exception. Kasi nung naglaban sila on compound, that's honestly the only time na nakita natin silang kaya nilang dumugo. Pero sa iba pang mga naging competitors sila, sa iba pang mga maps na nakita natin sila, very much untouchable yung matches natin pare, no? You already talked about the talent of the players, but the amount of times as well that we kind of reference on the Shrooms or how flexible their map pool is, yung matches din naman no? Nakakatakot yung Ankara, malakas naman yung Compound. I think they're also one of the few teams that also has only one loss sa Compound map nila, but all the other times, talagang walang nakatalo sa kanila dito sa Compound map natin. Why is that, Sneaky?
Yeah, I think it's just very tough in general, no? To have, if you have players like yun nga, the riflers that you do have on SS to kind of, play the map of Compound in general, pare. Everyone was pretty locked in nung time na yun for SS. And
Yeah.
nga, unfortunately para sa matches, there's slight lack of discipline, no? Is still present dito sa kanila, which is very important, kagaya nga when it comes to the map of etong Compound. I mean, similar dito nga sa port map natin, no, which is you're gonna need to control yourself in some of these situations, pare. And if you don't, yun nga, unfortunately, you are gonna take that L just like itong AGT, pare. Pero yun nga, we're gonna take a look at yung highlights natin from the game. It was a whole lot of AGT, pare, sa simula ng laruan natin on their BL side, and then it all went downhill from there. Pero it was a interesting back and forth at least dito sa second half, pare.
At least hindi na siya as individualistic katulad na nakita natin from Black Widow. No? At least now they're coming in this with more game plans. At least nakakita tayo ng star-studded moments from Yoteb na sinasabi natin na kailangan maging consistent. He did so with flying colors, kada naman having a decent performance sa pag-hold na sa top A. Pero yung mga riflers dito sa B-side, yun yung parang naging talim nila nung nasa GR na sila. No? Yun yung sana nagiging secret weapon laban dito sa Vengeance, who honestly have been already dumped with a pretty bad disadvantage, giving away too many rounds even when they started doon sa kanilang GR side. So it's like AGT, nasa kanila lang sana, nasa palad na nila yung parang chance para makuha yung match win na to. Pero at this point, Vengeance had too much momentum, and they also had the game-winning call of just rushing into the site as well. So talagang running away with the win, and into a 10-8 win, naipakita nga naman na may potential pa rin sila makaabot sa top 4 natin. That is depending on every other factor as well. So as we take a look at yung set summary natin, 10-8, sobrang lapit, 1.55 para kay Sua. Welcome back sa lineup, pare. Na-miss na namin siya from last week.
Yeah, Vengeance definitely missed this guy. And I feel like, yun nga, no, Sua, it's very tough to spot yung ginagawa niya na tama, especially dun sa week 1, he didn't have too good of a score, but now we nga, no, Vengeance kind of realizing na, Suma is worth more than expected, no, for the Swan. So it's nice na he did perform well on his way back, and even possibly notching another set MVP and possibly a match MVP dito sa ating laruan. Pero yun nga, looking at itong AGT, yun nga, once again, Yotib, very nice performance. Rio had some very good rounds. Itong si Aero especially, no, nice to see him performing very, very well despite yung direction ng series natin. A42 stepped up, CR7 kind of toned down a bit, pero yun nga, overall, it was a great team effort para dito sa AGT.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate din kasi kahit dun sa Black Widow, nahalata mo na hindi nag-work yung mga initial plans nila sana. A few misplays from the timing sa kung kailan sila lalapit. You also see a few of that nung nagsimula tayo sa port natin where A42 kind of pushed into the smoke na walang trade-off. But I guess that communication was set in tone nung dumating na sila doon sa second half. So mas naging malinis yung game plan, but unfortunately masyado na siyang late. No? So para sa Vengeance, a good job overall para sa lahat ng players natin. I do have to put a bit more credit kay Azenit, who honestly was the MVP for me doon sa first set natin. I think a lot of the set plays were him spearheading the thing. Pero para sa ating second set, si Sua na naman ang ating magiging set MVP. Kung kanina si CJ, ngayon si Sua naman. There's, for some reason, the subs here actually have been getting so many buffs. Ngayon si Sua naman para sa ating set MVP.
Yeah, and yun nga, I'm glad that he performed very well this season na to, no? I mean, yun nga, he's doing a lot of things right para sa Vengeance, making sure that the entries do get their just trades, and at the same time, you can kind of assign him, no, to be a lot more aggressive para sa kanyang team. He's kind of like the Swiss Army knife for the squad. Can't do anything as long as you just point him at the right direction. So, good job to Sua, man. Glad to see itong Vengeance, performing well enough to at least remind us of what level they're standing in dito sa Impact, pare.
Yeah, and it definitely shows that there are highs and highs para dito sa Vengeance despite the inconsistency. They show their highs now, pero for how long will they keep that up pagtapos ng week natin dito, Because considering then yung magiging schedule nila, I think it's safe to say that they are not gonna be at the best of spots. Si Rhea 7 ang kanilang magiging kalaban next week. Pero for now, let's focus on yung naging performance nila against Arise Gaming Team. No? 10-4 sa Black Widow, 10-8. Support natin for a combined 20-12. Which honestly, for Arise Gaming Team and how different their performance is now compared to the first few weeks, I take this because it means na may improvement, may tinatry silang gawin. But it's also safe to say na medyo kailangan na ng improvement dito sa kung gaano kalita tayo sa week para lang masabi natin na worth it na sana for them to get at least top 5 pare.
Yeah, for sure. And it's gonna be quite the journey pa rin para dito sa Vengeance. I think at this point, hindi na sila pwede matalo if they do want a guaranteed spot dito sa top 4 kasi ayun nga, you're gonna have to go 4-3 and you're gonna have to fight through yung possible tiebreakers as well who is gonna be, you know, possibly tied in dito sa ating 4-3 matchup. So, ayun nga, Vengeance, it's still quite a long road dito sa Impact. I mean, you still have to go through R7 and itong Sunday Shrooms, but still, why not? You know, provide us with a decent surprise dito sa ating Impact. And of course, yun nga, no surprise match MVP is gonna be itong si Sua. Played very consistently well all throughout yung first 2 maps natin. And, ayun nga, back in the fray. That means, he's parang di nga siya nahirapan eh. It didn't need any time to adjust back dito sa Vengeance, man.
Hindi lang naglaro ng Crossfire Impact Summer sa isang week tapos nung pagkabalik nagkaroon ng buff bigla si Soa, no? Parang na-miss niya maglaro, mag-compete. So it tells you how important this is para sa kanya na makapag-show up dito sa ating series. And yet again, Soa just shows also kung gaano ka-important sa lineup na nandun siya pare. So you also can kind of put him in a conversation of underrated players so far sa Impact Summer. As nagagawa niya na maayos yung trabaho niya pare, being a good anchor sa lahat ng mga sides kung saan nasa GR siya. And when it comes to also being one of the riflers, he's doing a good job also on being the second player in kapag kailangan gawin ng Vengeance yun. So it is a victory para sa Vengeance overall, and I hope that this is gonna be enough para tumaas yung moral ng Vengeance habang tumatagal yung weeks natin sa Impact Summer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's gonna take quite the journey, no, para makabalik nga dito yung Vengeance. But man, what's the point of just moping about it, no? I mean, might as well just say, hey guys, alam kong 2-3 tayo. We have like 2 more wins that we need to get against possibly the 2 of the best teams dito sa tournament natin. Hey, let's just try our best. Kasi at this point, there's no reason to be sad. Kasi nandun na sa harap yung challenge mo, man. I mean, might as well take it.
Yeah. And they took it, they shall nga naman. So, next week, it will be a harder challenge. But for now, ay magiging masaya ang Vengeance ngayon. No? So, 2-0 sa ating first series of the day. Pero hindi pa tapos ang bakbakan sa Impact Summer. It will be Matches versus Cypher Pro Team. And I'm sure ayaw na ayaw yung itong mamiss. So, thank you so much nga pala sa mga viewers natin na nakapanood so far sa ating naging page. At kung nag-enjoy kayo sa laban, i-follow at saka i-subscribe lang kayo dito sa ating Crossfire Philippines kung nanonood lang kayo sa Facebook at saka sa YouTube pare. So Matches versus Cypher Pro Team pakatapos ng break. Ako nga pala si Ramon. Kasama ko si Sneaky Frog. That has been the first series and hopefully sa ating second ay hindi kayo aalis.